Hi everyone, Erica here, and I'm going to show you everything that we are growing this season. This is the best season. You know this, I know this, and that's the gardening season. So currently in the fridge right now, we are stratifying the lavender. And so the lavender is what we are going to try again. We tried both direct sowing without stratification and stratification, and did have some lavender grow, but not that much. So we're going to try again. And this is mainly because I just like the smell of lavender and it's just a really good pollinator. We're also doing a variety of peppers. If you noticed in my videos, I mentioned about how we just love peppers and how we're always trying to find different variety. It is tough to grow peppers in Maine, but we found out that it is possible. We are growing the rest of our sweet bell peppers, or orange bell pepper. But the majority of our seeds come from New England seed. I highly suggest if you're new to gardening that you are buying seeds that are for your area. So New England seeds, because I live in New England. But does that mean you cannot try other seeds, which I'll show you later. And that's what we're doing, is trying different seeds as well. We are finishing our cayenne pepper. And this we bought actually at the Dollar Tree. So let's see how that turns out. In a Dollar Tree, you can buy 4 for $1. So that's cool. We also have for peppers, we have the Hungarian peppers. We actually really like these. They're not too hot. Actually, they're not really hot at all. And they actually have been producing pretty well. This will be our third season doing the Hungarians. We also have another packet from the Dollar Tree. It is called the Hungarian Yellow Wax, or the Spanish variety. So we're really interested to see how those come up. So those are our peppers. Moving on, we have asparagus. So we know that it takes about 2 years to asparagus to produce. So last season we planted them. Hopefully we'll get asparagus this season, and we're going to try to do more asparagus because they are perennials. And we have leeks. This was actually quite successful too last year. We put them in 2 different areas. We put them in our barrels, and we also put them in the garden next to tomatoes, because they are companion plants to tomatoes. So we have leeks. We have the most important thing of all things in the world, and that's kale. You all know, and I keep repeating it, maybe I'll make it to a hashtag, but I love kale. And we are growing red Russian kale. This absolutely flourishes in our garden. It did amazing last year, and we know it's going to be amazing this year. We have a lot of nitrogen from our chicken manure and our composting, and so these really flourish to the point where we call them dinosaur kale, even though it's not dinosaur kale. Just as much as I love kale, I also love tomatoes. In fact, I love pruning tomatoes. And so we are growing Determinate beefsteak tomatoes, and these flourished really well last year, as well as our first time last season we did tomatillos, and we had so many tomatillos that we still have them in the freezer. I made them into salsa. So tomatillos do grow in Maine, and they actually do quite well, and the bumblebees love tomatillos. So if you want to get more of bees into your garden, I definitely think you should try tomatillos, because they favorited the flowers on the tomatillo plants 10 times more, or like just way much more than they did the flowers on the tomato plants. So moving on to herbs, we're going to try again coriander / cilantro. This bolted really quick last season, so we're going to try to do some things differently. If you know some tips for growing coriander / cilantro, please put in the comments below. We will welcome any tips. We're still somewhat new. It's our 3rd season to gardening, and you always learn, I think, every year at gardening. So definitely help us out, because we want cilantro. Even though it said slow bolting on it, it's still bolted. So it doesn't say non-bolting, it just says slow bolting. Anyway, We have some organic basil. Uh, this basil is great. It smells great. It did pretty well companion planting with tomatoes. We did bring it indoors and it's still lasting. It's like maybe like a few leaves on it, but we're able to enjoy basil throughout the year, and we're excited to grow it again, especially now that I know how to prune those as well. Out of all the herbs, sage did the best in our growing zone, which is our growing zone is zone 5. And we harvested them all and I use them as teas. So we're definitely going to try this again. And lastly, we have oregano. This also took us a while and we actually have the remaining oregano here. It does look like it's trying to regrow. Most of it has died, but oregano was kind of hard for us as well. So if you know any tips for growing oregano or just herbs in general, leave it in the comments. The last thing we got from New England Seed Company are these pumpkins. We actually tried doing pumpkins last season in soil blocks and it just did not happen. They never sprouted, nothing happened. So we're going to try again with pumpkins because pumpkin seeds are very good for women who have PCOS. The remaining of the seeds, either in continuing on, as I mentioned before, some came from Walmart, these or the Dollar Tree or Paris Farmers, which is our local stores here in Maine. So we have, oh, actually I lied. These are from New England. Okay, sorry. So the last seeds. We have lettuce from New England Seed. These are the small packets. Squash. We did this our first summer in Maine. We didn't have any seeds last summer, so we want to definitely make sure that we have zucchini. We have some peas because we are going to try vertical gardening this summer. So we know that peas, cucumbers, tomatoes, all those stuff do well on vertical gardening. So we're going to definitely do that with some peas. Then we have green beans. Also, we're going to try that with our vertical gardening. We have carrots, which we're going to grow in our barrels only because we tried twice in our soil and it happened, but the carrots were like this small. So we're going to definitely try to put them in the barrels and we're hoping that that will work. Also in our barrels, we're going to try to grow radishes. And we actually got it says it's mescaline. Maybe I'm saying that wrong. But this is a mix, a leafy green mix. And then lastly, cucumbers. So we're going to grow all of those vegetables, all of those herbs, and we are going to try flowers this time. I, in the long run, would love to have a flower farm, but right now we're just focusing on the gardens, but it doesn't mean that I can't try to grow flowers. So marigolds, mainly because it's a pest deterrent. And then we have zinnias, mainly because zinnia is a cut flower, and I just want to try growing cut flowers and just having flowers in my home, and also just to lure different pollinators in. So the tomatillos did a great job, but it does take a while for the tomatillos to flower. So we're hoping that this will help with the pollinators. And we also have other, when we bought this home, they already started growing flowers around our home, but we were mainly wanting to grow flowers away from our home just because the squirrels, chipmunks, those kind of rodents tend to like the flowers and bury near the flowers and near our home, and we're trying to get that away from our house the best we can. So we're going to try to grow these somewhere. Don't know where, but we're going to try to grow zinnias. I believe that's all we plan to do. And I definitely recommend, as I've said before, that if you are new to an area like we are still new to Maine, that we got this book. This is called Vegetable Gardening in the Northeast, and it specifically focuses on zone 6, 5, and 4. I will link this book below if you live in New England and are new to gardening, so I'll put that down there. Now that that's done, I'm going to show you what we've already started. In this 72 tray, we are growing kale and leeks, and they're definitely growing towards the light. And we have our windows here, but we also have this light as well. this tray here is the asparagus, but they haven't come yet. This is the leftover basil and leftover thyme. We don't have any more thyme seeds, so that we're just holding on. This is also a 72 tray of asparagus, but nothing has come up yet. This is a whole 200 cell tray of kale. So you can see there's lots of kale here, which makes me very happy because I love kale. So also in here are leeks, and they're growing. They're starting to come out. Look at all these leeks. So all of our seeding trays and these humidity covers are from the Greenhouse Megastore online. And then we're trying to be sustainable / savvy with these oatmeal containers. We cut our oatmeal containers and we're using them to plant leeks and peppers. So you can see that the peppers are not up yet, but the leeks are starting to come. See the leeks? All of these seedlings are in a 10-20 tray. And here you can see more leeks. Look at that. Now yellow is peppers, and the peppers are not out yet. We think it's because it's just they're not having the right temperature to germinate, so we're going to do something to fix that, and hopefully they'll come. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification button so you can see everything that we are doing here at our house, how our whole food plant-based journey is going, and other tips and tricks for this gardening season. So stay tuned, and thank you so much for your support. Until next time. Hi everyone, Erica here, and I'm actually going to show you today my dog. Everything that we are growing this gardening season. So